Now we're going to talk about multiplying complex numbers. And when we have real numbers and you're multiplying them under the square root, you can just make it one square root and multiply the real numbers. But unfortunately, that's not true for complex numbers. First, you have to simplify them, pull out the I, and then you can multiply. Okay, so let's look at the square root of -4 times the square root of -9. Well, first we would look at the square root of -4. The negative is going to become an I, and the square root of 4 is 2. So that's 2I. And then the square root of -9, the negative becomes an I, and the square root of 9 is 3. Well, now we want to multiply the 2 and the 3, which gives us 6. And then we'd have the I and the I, which is I squared. And remember what I is equal to. I is equal to the square root of -1, which means I squared, if you square both sides, is -1. So here we'd have 6 times -1, and our final answer would be -6. Okay, here we have the square root of -3, so that'll be I square root of 3, and the square root of -17, so that'll be I square root of 17. So we have I times I, which is I squared. Oops, didn't mean to put an equals there. And then we'll have the square root of, now that those are just numbers, we'll have the square root of 3 times 17, which is 51. Okay, the I squared again becomes a -1, so this would be negative square root of 51. Okay, now when we have two complex numbers that we want to multiply, we're going to think of foiling them. First, outside, inside, last. And then remember, when we have an I squared, we'll plug in -1. So our first terms here, 4 times 3 is 12. Our outside terms, 4 times -5i will be minus 20i. Our inside terms, 2i times 3 will be plus 6i. And our last terms, 2i times -5i will be minus 10i squared. Now we can combine like terms here and do 12 minus 14i. And the I squared becomes a -1, so we'd have -10 times -1, which will become plus 10. And now we can combine the 12 and the 10, so we get 22 minus 14i. And that would be our product. That would be our final answer for multiplying these two together. Okay, let's do another one. So here we have 7 minus 3i times 8 plus 6i. So we'll do our first term. 7 times 8 is 56. Our outside terms, 7 times 6i will be plus 42i. Our inside terms, -3i times 8 will be minus 24i. And our last terms will be -3i times 6i, so minus 18i squared. So we'd have 56, and then 42 minus 24 we'll have plus 18i, and then this I squared is going to become a -1, so -18 times -1 will have plus 18. And now we can combine the 56 plus 18, so we have 74 plus 18i. Okay, and then our last one here, we want to do 9 minus 2i squared. So that means we're going to do 9 minus 2i times 9 plus 2i, minus 2i, multiply it by itself. So we'll do the first terms, will give us 81. Our outside terms will give us minus 18i. Our inside terms give us minus 18i. And our last terms give us plus 4i squared. So the 81 minus 36i, and remember I squared is -1, so 4 times -1 becomes minus 4. So when we combine this, our final product here is 77 minus 36i.